In this Facts for Life video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about Voyagers of Nera, which is an open-world survival crafting game that goes into early access on Steam today, which means you can play right now if you want. And this is a game I've been playing the last week or so, off and on with my friends. I've been having an absolute blast playing it. It's beautiful, it's fun to play. But before I get into all the details on what exactly is in this game and why I like it, big shout out to Treehouse Games for sponsoring this video. If you guys like what you see in this video, you can use the link to support our channel. They are both the developer and publisher of this game. So let's talk a little bit about Voyagers of Nera. What makes it so unique? Why do I like it? Well, first of all, the art style of this game is absolutely incredible. You notice it immediately once you load into the game and you get outside the starter area and you start looking around the landscape. It's absolutely gorgeous to look at. You might see similar art styles in other games out there, but I think this one is one of the more unique ones that I've seen. It's kind of a fun, playful art style. It's very light, it's very vibrant and colorful. And the water in the game is absolutely beautiful. I love the lighting of the game, the way the sun rises and sunsets, particularly when you're sailing around the island. And it just makes it a very fun place to spend time. Like, you never really get bored of the art style. It's just very fun. It makes you feel like a kid. You know, it's one of the highlights of the game itself. I think it really makes it stand apart from other titles out there. And Voyagers of Nera is a game that I would qualify as survival crafting light. It's not nearly as hardcore as some other survival games in the genre or crafting games in the genre. It's definitely a little bit lighter in the sense that, well, I'll just give you some examples. Firstly, the food that you craft doesn't go bad. So, you know, one of the major issues with survival crafting games is if you make food and stock it up and then the food goes bad, then you have to go farm it again. And there's usually ways to get around this. So you don't have to do it. But from the very beginning of the game, whenever you find food or craft food, it never goes bad. So it's a little bit of a light mechanic in terms of survival. And I really like that, actually, because I don't like spending a lot of time having to farm food when I want to go building and I want to go exploring. And that eases some of that, makes it a little bit easier for yourself. And kind of piggybacking off that, the hunger mechanic in this game is not as detrimental as it is in some other games. Like, your health will go down to like a base amount if you don't eat for a long period of time. But when you eat food, your health bar will increase, your max health will increase, and you'll gain that health back. So eating helps you in this game, but it's not like an absolute necessity. So if you find yourself and you haven't eaten for a while, you'll be fine. You obviously don't want to go into combat with a very low health bar, so there are times when it makes sense to eat and things like that. But it kind of eliminates the need for like finding food and water constantly, so you can focus on exploring and adventuring and building, and I like that in this game. Another mechanic that kind of makes it survival light, if you will, is that you can repair your gear very easily in this game. There is a repair wheel that you can craft from the very beginning of the game that you will instantly repair all of your gear that you have equipped. All of your tools, all your weapons, all your armor, anything that would have taken durability damage over time will be repaired instantly simply from clicking the repair wheel. It doesn't cost any resources. And you can use this as many times as you want. And if you're like out harvesting wood somewhere or ore, or you know, you find yourself having a lot of battles on the landscape and you're worried your weapons are going to break and you didn't bring a spare, you can literally just craft a repair wheel and repair your gear right there. So it's really, really nice. I like that a lot. And I would say that this game has a much heavier focus on exploration than a lot of other survival crafting games I have played. There is definitely a flow to the game where, like, you're sailing around the islands, you're exploring them and the ruins in them, and moving from one area to the next and one area to the next. And I would say that, like, I have probably spent a lot of time in this game just exploring compared to building. I would say the ratio of exploring I have done to building is probably 80% to building. I think that might be shocking for a few people because a lot of survival crafting games depend on their building for a lot of the gameplay hours that you get. And you can absolutely build in this game. There's tons of things to build. There's no shortage of that. It's just that I found myself so enamored with the landscape and traveling around and seeing the different islands that I almost sometimes forgot that I could craft because you simply were doing a lot of other activities that didn't require you to craft. And I actually feel like there's so much more to this game that I haven't experienced because I spent so much time exploring instead of crafting. Because if you're the person who loves crafting, you can just do that and then go exploring when you want. But I kind of got lost in the landscape, which is why I didn't spend a lot of time. And one of the things that I really love about this game is that water and sailing and water exploration and water resources are a huge part of this game compared to other survival crafting games. If you are kind of fed up or tired or just overrun on survival crafting games that drop you into a landscape and you have to stay alive and find things, and that's that. This might be a game you might want to consider checking out because you spend a lot of time in the water. There's probably, I would say, 40 to 50% of the time I'm in the water when I'm playing Voyagers of Nera. And that might seem bad, but I really don't like the way water exploration has been done in a lot of other survival crafting games. I like it a lot more in this game. It feels good. The controls are good. Water is beautiful in this game. The swimming mechanic is fun. You also get abilities that improve how fast you can swim and how long you can hold your breath, so you can go way down into the ocean and find things and come up, or outrun sharks and maneuver and things like that. So it's just absolutely fun in general. Again, you spend a lot of time in the water and you have a boat. You can craft a boat and sail around with your friends or by yourself, and sailing is just cathartic. It's relaxing. It's so much fun. And I spent countless hours just doing that in this game without even getting into some of the other things, just because it's so beautiful to look at and so much fun to do while you're playing it. This is a game also that has a bit of a focus on cooperative play. You don't have to play cooperatively. You can absolutely play single player, and I spent some time playing single player, but it's certainly more fun to play co-op. You can have up to 10 people on one server, and you can change the limit to be what you want. You can change the rules a little bit depending on how many people you have. Like, there are modifiers you can change. So if you want to make like a custom game exactly how you want, you absolutely can. And one little detail that I love about the co-op play in this game is that sailing is much easier with 2 people, because you have one person who controls the sails, which dictates your speed, which direction you're going, and one person who controls the rudder that, steers the boat and, dictates like ultimately where you're going. And if you're playing alone, you kind of have to like juggle these back and forth, get off the rudder, go to the sails, get off the sails, go to the rudder, back and forth. And it's kind of difficult to do. Because you're in open water a lot of the time, it's not always difficult, but as you try to navigate the small islands and shoals and things like that, it gets more challenging because you don't want to wreck your boat, which you absolutely can. And I really love sailing around with other people, and having people on your boat and just going places together was really, really fun. Spent a lot of time just doing that in this game. So I think if you like these sort of games and you have like, at least one other person to play with, like a significant other or kids or friends, is really good. Like 2 people is so much fun in this game. 3 people is even better. I haven't played it with, up to 10 people, but I can only imagine you'd have a lot of fun doing it and building all kinds of things. And because this game has such a focus on water exploration and cooperative play, one of the really fun things you can do in this game that I haven't seen in a lot of other games is you can actually build on the water. And I don't mean like you build, supports from the bottom of the ocean and then you can build on the water. You can just build on the top of the water from the very get-go of the game. So if you want to like sail out in the middle of the ocean and build a water base or a water world or whatever you want, you can do it. And you can do all kinds of crazy things, like build a platform in the ocean, build steps up to the top of a mountain, run up there and get whatever you want, and then run back down. Like, there's a lot of things you could do. You can build aerial pathways between the islands, and you literally could make connections between all the islands across the top of the water if you want. It allows for a lot of creativity that you don't see in a lot of other survival crafting games because they're limited by reality and physics. This game is a little more imaginative. It's a little more leeway in that. And I really never really totally got to explore all that yet. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to because I'm still playing. Even right now, I'll probably play later today, actually. But it's just, there's so much more creative leeway in the game because it's not completely focused on the realism aspect. And there is combat in this game as well. You will fight enemies and bosses in this game that will give you both crafting materials to make things, and we'll give you items that are progression based and block your path for crafting materials and things like that. But combat is definitely not the focus of this game. This is not a game that spent a lot of time on the combat aspect. You can tell it's there. It's serviceable. It gets the job done. You have like attacks with a few different weapon types, like a bow, sword, spear. I think a club as well. And you do have some like ranged attacks with certain spells, and there's some magic in the game. But the enemy variety is like not super complicated, and the bosses are not super complicated. So you can tell that it was made there to kind of be a deterrent to you, to make you have to kind of like work harder to get resources in some areas and to gate progression in the game, but it's not the focus of the game. So if you're playing this game for the combat, or you love like crazy good combat in your survival crafting game, this is definitely not the game. I would love to see them in early access focus a little bit more on this aspect and tweak it up a little bit. I come from a action RPG and Souls background, so no one should be shocked by me saying that. It is definitely not what every survival crafting player wants, but I would absolutely love to see them add more to that in order to, just make it a little bit more interesting and more fun. Maybe a little bit more challenge, but that's just me. And actually, there's already a lot of content in this game for early access. I was actually surprised how much content was in here when I started playing it. You have 3 different like island areas in the game that you can go to in early access currently. And you have up to 24 levels of things that you can learn to craft. Every level that you level up, you will gain knowledge of new crafting things that you can craft. I think there's like 5 or 6 things at each level that you can craft. Up to level 24, there are things. I don't know if you can go higher level than that since I haven't played that far. But I know there isn't more unlocks higher than that currently. I think they're planning on adding more by the time the game gets to retail release. But I would have been happy with one of these islands, like groups, in order to play in for early access. There's already a ton of content in one of those, but there's 3 of them currently in early access, which is a huge amount of content, and it's so polished. I got stuck once and had to use unstuck 1 time in the time that I played. And I didn't see any other glitches or bugs or anything like that. The game played smoothly. There were no frame drops or anything like that. You can tell from the way the art style is that it's not a super demanding game, so I think a lot of people will be able to play it on their PCs. And it's just a game that I was actually shocked how much fun I had playing it while I was playing it, and so I can absolutely recommend it to you. If you guys want to check it out, you can use our link below to support the channel, but it is actually really, really fun. And sometimes we get sponsored to do games that we really, really like, and that works out really, really well. And this is a game I had never even heard of before, and I can't wait to see more from Treehouse Games. They seem like they got a good thing going here, and this is a game I would absolutely love to see going on to console at some point, since I think it would run finally on it. But I want to know what you guys think from seeing this. Is this something that sounds good to you? Does it interest you? Let me know in the comments below.